Conservation teams say an unprecedented number of dead dotterels are washing up on the east coast north of Auckland. They're warning climate change coupled with human activity are to blame for the ominous start to the birds' breeding season. Perry Wilton has the story.
In a freezer in Tawharanui Regional Park are 4 dead New Zealand dotterel, all found on Monday morning.
This is the first time this has ever happened in the years that I've been working on the park. Not 4 in one go. Just a very, very high wind that they weren't prepared for, and they just got knocked out of the sky.
And this is the little one who's the oldest of all. She's 18 years old and I've known her for 18 years. Very sad.
There are just 2,500 New Zealand dotterel. Alison Staines is one of around 100 volunteers monitoring them in Auckland. She says climate change is obvious here on the east coast. More storms killing birds and taking out the dunes they nest on.
The local storm that hit just at the end of October has taken out 8 nests here.
In Tawharanui Regional Park, volunteers say that there was a dotterel nest right here, but in the October storm, it was completely buried and there were freshly hatched chicks inside. The nests that are left on cliff-like dunes like these.
The nest we've just seen is just sitting in a very precarious position. The working sand dunes aren't working now because too many storms hit too frequently.
Storms in the past few months have taken out nests all along the coast north of Auckland.
We've lost about over 20 eggs from various nests. Yeah,
and is that this year alone?
That's this season, yeah. They started about mid-September.
Sue Cook monitors dotterels here in Omaha. She says when you combine storms with house pets, the dotterel death toll is rising.
It's at least 7 that I've found. And one day last week, one of our volunteers just found a pair of dotterel wings and 2 legs.
The pressures of the coast are now proving too much to bear. These dotterels have instead found sanctuary in an industrial site in Albany, kilometres away from the beach.
It's just because there's so much pressure on their habitat that they're having to move into more other areas that aren't necessarily better than the usual ones.
As nests gets wiped out and the birds aren't producing more chicks, that becomes less sustainable.
Bonds years in the making, broken.
My little go-go. Very sad indeed.
By a rising tide of threats. Perry Wilton, Newshub.